turns out that Wizards of the Coast is racist. I can't support that, chat. I'm a progressive troll. I try to change society for the better, and I cannot in good conscience use my own money to support racist companies. I want to support diversity. I want to feel virtuous about my purchases. I am a consumer that thinks about society. Stakeholder capitalism. This is why I only purchase my entertainment from Japanese companies. Not only do I support diversity, but I also do not support racist companies that way. How many Japanese companies do you know that came out and apologized for being racist? I don't know of a single one. Now, I want you to do a thought experiment. Imagine that you go in a video game and you type in, you use the clickety-clack on the keyboard, you use your fingers to do harm, and you type in a racist joke. If you don't know a racist joke, then you can go to South Park, preferably all the way up to season 4 or 5, take any joke from that TV show and post it into that video game that you're playing. What do you think will happen? The answer is you get zooked. Translation, you get banned. No racismos. Alright, so if you get banned when playing a video game, why shouldn't corporations do better? Why should we allow them to still infect our homes with their products? The moment a company admits that they're racist, you should take their word for it and never purchase from them again. Ever. Reminds me of Preston University. Do you guys know the story about Preston University? The dean, which was there for several decades, admitted that Preston University has a racism problem. Now, this was happening during the Trump administration. So, the government went, oh, well, you know that's illegal, right? Like, you know, as a university, it's illegal to be racist. So they started investigating Preston. Look it up. Very funny. But I genuinely think that when a company tells you that they have done racismus, we should take their word for it and never purchase from them again. Now, you may wonder, how exactly did Dungeons & Dragons commit racismus? Because they have hired an entire army of gender studies experts and authorities on the matter in order to sanitize their game. I mean, I know more efforts to sanitize their game than they have actually done to create things in their game. In fact, DnD 1 is basically like, LOL, why don't you guys create the game? We stay back, LOL. That's pretty much their trailer. But think about it. I mean, they tried making races bland. They removed slavery from their game. Like, they're doing all of these things in order to make the game more inclusive. Meanwhile, I barely know of any new spells that the game has. I barely know of any new mechanics or feats. Because that's not what's important. What's important is to constantly remove stuff from the game until the game becomes perfect. Because that's how everything works. You know, you take your computer and you start removing parts from it until your computer becomes good. You take your house and you start removing parts from it until your house becomes good. That's pretty much how the world works, right? You just remove stuff. And eventually, by constantly removing stuff, you end up with the utopia. So given that this is the nature of Dungeons & Dragons, what the fuck did they do in order to bring the ire of this person on Twitter? And yes, this person is the all-powerful entity which got a corporation to bend its knee. Because Katie May here was on to Wizards of the Coast. They may call themselves Wizards of the Coast, but when Katie May put on her glasses, she saw the word grand in front of Wizards of the Coast. It was like, they're hiding in plain sight. Those evil racists. So look at it. I mean, this is wonderful. White DMs. Right? So what I want you to do is to invent a time machine and bring back some Germans from the past, from World War II. Like, bring the Germans here. Bring some Nazis. Because they're experts at telling people's races. Right? They have, like, all the skull measurements and stuff. And make sure that you classify your DMs according to this so that you can please Katie May. Because, like, she is very concerned about people's heritage. Alright? Like, she separates the world into different phenotypes in order to know how to judge people. So this is important, right? Like, why DMs, players? Please take this a moment to evaluate the relationship your games have with colonial voyeurism. Like, we are now on the ships traveling to the New World in a voyeurism journey. I want you to imagine what's being said. Like, so powerful, chat. Like, this is a person that went to academia in order to know these words. Like, they're very complex. Their way of speaking is very complex, right? Like, white voyeurism. Right? And then it's like, it's racismus minstrel shows. If you're creating in this sphere, chat, like, I want you to picture in your brain a sphere. Right? Do you have the sphere? Now I want you to enter the sphere, and I want you to create where inside the sphere. And you need to be educated, right? When you apply for a job, and it asks for your education, you say Twitter, Katie May. That's where you got your goddamn education from. You got it from inside the sphere. No, see, you're not paying attention. You don't get educated inside the sphere. In the sphere, you create. You get educated on Twitter, you fucking bigot. If you're looking to level up in this arena, so now we have an arena, chat, like, it's a battleground. Do you see how wonderful it is to read Katie May's Twitter post? Like, it goes from a ship traveling to the New World. It goes inside the sphere to create, and now you're in an arena leveling up. Like, this is a beautiful American story. Only in America can a person have this way of thinking by purchasing the American education system DLC. And then I bet they complain about student. God. It's so funny when you look at how progressives speak. Like, it's a completely different lingo. And the only reason they speak like this is to sound intelligent. I just want to point out that intelligent people talk about very complex things using very simple terms. And unintelligent people talk about simple things using very complex terms. Like, I'm going to just tell you that white voyeurism isn't what you think it is. And if you go on the street and you ask people, it's like, hey, what is white colonial voyeurism? They won't have a fucking clue. You need to spend money at a university, probably around $100,000 to find out, you know, to unlock the educational DLC. So you can play Dungeons and Dragons, by the way. That's why you need to do all this. God. And of course, the corporation took this person seriously. Why? Because this is their new customer. This is who they are creating the game for. They're not creating the games to be inclusive. No, only this type of opinion is what's important. You can bring 100,000 people telling them, it's like, no, we are not offended. Like, please don't change it. They will not listen. They will call you racist bigots. But all you need is one single person. All you need is just one tweet with barely any likes. Like 628 likes. This is almost nothing. This is peanuts. Okay? But it's enough to scare the company into submission. Buy Japanese products. Trust me on this one. Buy Japanese products. Avoid shit like this, like the plague. No hate playing. Alright? No hate playing. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.